That seat is not yours anymore. Those 6 words changed everything. 6 words from my daughter-in-law that made 20 years of family memories disappear like smoke. Before we proceed, thank you for watching Her Voice Narrative. Please subscribe and tell us where you are watching from in the comment section. I stood there in the doorway holding a warm pecan pie. The same pie I had baked for this family every Christmas since my son Bernard got married. The same recipe his grandmother taught me. The same tradition that made the house smell like home. But Jennifer was not interested in traditions anymore. She tapped the back of the chair where I always sat. Right next to where Bernard used to carve the turkey. Where he told terrible dad jokes that made the kids laugh so hard they almost choked on their food. Where we shared stories and made memories for 2 decades. This seat is for my father now, Jennifer said. Her voice was loud enough for everyone at the table to hear. You need to move. The room went silent. Forks stopped moving. Nobody looked at me. They all just stared at their plates like the pattern on the china was suddenly fascinating. I am Margaret Hayes, 72 years old, former accountant, widow, mother to 1 son who I lost 6 months ago in a car accident that tore my world apart. Until that moment I thought I still had a family. I thought grief would bring us closer. I thought Jennifer and I would hold on to each other and keep Bernard's memory alive together. I was wrong. Let me take you back to that dining room. Let me show you exactly what happened when someone decides you are no longer useful to them. When your chair gets taken away and you realize everything you thought was yours actually belongs to someone else. Because what I did next shocked everyone in that room. And it started with me finally understanding something important. The chair did not matter. But what was in my name did. I had been standing in that doorway for maybe 10 seconds, but it felt like hours. The pie was getting heavy in my hands. Behind Jennifer I could see her father Raymond settling into my chair. He looked uncomfortable. His face was red and he would not make eye contact with me. Of course I said quietly, "It is just a seat." Jennifer smiled. That smile told me everything I needed to know. She thought she had won. Thought she had put me in my place. Thought the old woman would shuffle off to whatever corner they assigned her and be grateful for the scraps. I walked slowly past the dining table. Past the Christmas tree Bernard and I had decorated together last year. Past the family photos on the wall where my face was slowly being replaced by new people. New family. People who did not remember Bernard as a little boy. People who did not know his favorite bedtime story or the way he always burned toast on Sunday mornings. At the far end of the table was a folding chair. One of those metal ones that dig into your back and wobble when you sit down. It was shoved between the kids' table and a stack of extra napkins. I sat down. My knees hit the metal bar underneath. The chair was so cramped I could barely move. My granddaughter Lily slipped her small hand into mine under the table. She is 8 years old with Bernard's dark eyes and his gentle heart. "Grandma," she whispered. "You can sit in my chair." I squeezed her hand. "It is okay, sweetheart. Eat your turkey." At the head of the table Jennifer stood up. She raised her wine glass high. The crystal caught the candlelight and scattered rainbow dots across the white tablecloth. "To new beginnings," she announced. "To Bernard watching over us. And to the future with the Caldwell family." She looked straight at me when she said Caldwell. Let those words hang in the air like a challenge. The future with the Caldwells. Not with the Hayes family. Not with me. Her fiancé Michael lifted his glass. He is tall with perfect teeth and an expensive watch. The kind of man who sells things for a living and makes it look easy. The family, he added. All of it. Raymond shifted in my seat. In Bernard's seat. He raised his glass without saying anything. His hand shook slightly. I sipped water from a plastic cup. My wine glass sat on the sideboard with the bottle I had brought. Nobody poured me any. The meal began. Plates passed from hand to hand. Conversation flowed around me like I was a rock in a stream. People talked and laughed, but nobody spoke to me directly. I was furniture. Background decoration. Something you notice because it takes up space but do not actually include. Halfway through dinner Jennifer set down her fork. She dabbed her lips with a napkin as casual as discussing the weather. "Oh, I almost forgot to mention," she said. "I filed the paperwork last week." Her mother looked up from her mashed potatoes. "What paperwork, honey?" "To change the kids' last names." Jennifer reached for her wine glass. "We are all going to be Caldwells now. It makes everything simpler. School forms, doctor appointments, insurance papers. And Michael has been more of a father figure to them these past few months than anyone else." She let that sentence trail off. But everyone at the table knew how it ended. More of a father than Bernard. More of a father than my dead son. My fork scraped against my plate. The sound made my teeth hurt. Lily froze with her hand halfway to her mouth. My grandson Ryan is 10 years old. All skinny arms and legs and messy hair. He stopped chewing and just stared at his mother. "Jennifer," I said. My voice came out steady even though my heart was hammering. "Their last name is Hayes. It was their father's name. It is my name." She shrugged one shoulder like we were discussing paint colors. "It is just a name, Monica. Don't be dramatic. You will still see them." She paused and took a sip of wine. Her eyes met mine over the rim of the glass. "As long as you do not make things difficult. We still need you on some paperwork. For now. There it was. The real reason I was sitting at this table. Not as a grandmother. Not as family. I was a signature on legal documents. A name that had to be included until it did not. Useful until I was not. I set my fork down carefully. My hands did not shake even though something inside me wanted to flip that table and every perfect plate on it. "Course," I said. The rest of the meal passed in a blur. I ate because Lily was watching and I did not want her to see me fall apart. I nodded when Raymond tried to make awkward conversation about the weather. I smiled when Jennifer's mother talked about after Christmas sales. But inside my head I was doing what I had done for 30 years as an accountant. I was calculating. Numbers. Legal documents. Names on deeds and bank accounts and insurance policies. The house. The business Bernard and I started together. The memorial fund. The commercial lease. The investment accounts. Everything Jennifer thought she controlled. Everything that was actually still in my name. She thought taking my chair meant taking my power. She had no idea what I actually owned. What I could actually do. Dessert came out. 3 pies lined up on the sideboard. Pumpkin. Apple. Some fancy chocolate thing with a French name nobody could pronounce. My pecan pie sat alone on the kitchen counter. Bernard's favorite. The recipe his grandmother taught me. The one I had made for this family every single Christmas for 20 years. Nobody mentioned it. Nobody brought it out. They had erased him from his own Christmas table. That was the moment I knew. This was not about grief or moving on or blending families. This was about erasing me. Erasing Bernard. Taking everything we built and pretending it started with Jennifer and Michael. I stood up while they were still cutting dessert. "I should go," I said. Jennifer barely looked up. "Already? We have not done the memorial toast for Bernard yet. I am tired. It has been a long day." Lily's face crumpled. I leaned down and kissed the top of her head. Breathed in the smell of her strawberry shampoo. "I will see you very soon, baby," I whispered. "Promise." Raymond walked me to the door. His hands were shoved deep in his pockets and he would not meet my eyes. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "About the seat. About all of it." I did not know she was going to do that. "It is fine," I told him. And it was fine. 'Cause a seat is just a chair. You can move a chair anywhere. But names. Names are written in ink on deeds and wills and business licenses and bank accounts. Names matter. Names have power. And every single thing that mattered in this family had my name on it. I stepped out into the cold December night. Wind cut through my coat but I barely felt it. I sat behind the wheel of my car and stared at the house through the windshield. Warm light glowed from every window. Shadows moved inside. Laughter drifted out like smoke. They thought they had won. Thought the old woman would drive home and cry into her pillow and show up next week ready to sign whatever papers Jennifer wanted. But I did not drive home. I started the engine and drove downtown. Toured the office building where my lawyer Sarah worked late on Thursdays. Toured filing cabinets and notarized documents and the legal protections Bernard and I had put in place years ago. Protections Jennifer had forgotten existed. They took my seat at the table. That night I took back everything else. By morning my phone would show 34 missed calls. To understand how I ended up in that folding chair, you need to know who I was before. Before Bernard died. Before Jennifer stopped calling me mom. Before Christmas dinner became a battlefield. I worked as an accountant for 35 years. Small business mostly. Helping people understand taxes and payroll and how to keep their companies from drowning in debt. I was good at my job. Really good. Numbers don't lie and they don't have feelings. They just are. Bernard was my only child. My miracle baby. I had him when I was 32 after years of trying. His father died when Bernard was 7. Heart attack. Sudden. The kind of loss that teaches you early that nothing is guaranteed and everything can disappear in a heartbeat. So I raised Bernard alone. Worked double shifts. Took every client I could find. Made sure he had everything he needed even if I went without. We were a team. 2 Hayes against the world. He grew up watching me balance checkbooks at the kitchen table. Watching me negotiate with bill collectors and insurance companies and landlords who thought a single mother was an easy target. He learned young that money is not just about earning it. It is about protecting it. Understanding where it goes and who controls it. When Bernard graduated college, he bounced between jobs for a while. Sales mostly. He was good with people in a way I never was. Could talk to anyone. Make them feel important. But he wanted something more. Something that belonged to him. We used to sit on my back porch on Sunday afternoons drinking iced tea and dreaming out loud. What if we opened a store, he said one day. Home goods store. Kitchen stuff. Local artists. Maybe cooking classes in the back. Make it a real community place. I looked at him over my glass. You know anything about running retail? He grinned. That smile that got him out of trouble his whole childhood. Well, but you know numbers and I know people. Together we could figure it out. That is how Hayes Home and Kitchen was born. Not from a business plan or a bank loan. From Sunday afternoon dreams and a mother who could not say no to her son. Had savings. My retirement fund that I built up penny by penny over 30 years. It was supposed to be for emergencies. For growing old. For whatever came after I stopped working. But Bernard looked at me with those eyes so much like his father's, and I thought, what else am I saving for? What better legacy than building something together? We found a space on Marshall Street. Small but bright with big windows and good foot traffic. The rent was high but manageable. The landlord wanted first month last month and security deposit. I wrote the check. Put my name on the lease. We will pay you back, Mom, Bernard promised. Every penny. I know you will, I said. Then he met Jennifer. She was 26. Bright. Full of energy and ideas. She worked in marketing for a furniture company and hated it. Too corporate, she said. Too many rules. She wanted to build something creative. When Bernard brought her home for the first time, I saw how he looked at her. Like she hung the moon. Like she was the answer to every question he had been asking his whole life. She was sweet to me in those early days. Called me Mom within 6 months. Hugged me when she arrived and when she left. Asked about my day. My clients. My plans. You are so lucky to have such a close relationship with Bernard, she told me once. My mom and I barely speak. I always wanted a mother-in-law like you. I believed her. Why would I not? When they got engaged, I helped with the wedding. Not just emotionally. Financially. Their credit was not strong enough for the venue they wanted. So I co-signed the loan. Guaranteed payment if they defaulted. It was a beautiful ceremony. Simple but elegant. Jennifer cried real tears during her vows. A year later they wanted to buy a house. The market was tight and their income together barely qualified for the mortgage they needed. The bank wanted a co-signer. That is when Sarah got involved. Sarah Chen had been my lawyer for 15 years. We met when I helped her father with his business taxes. She handled contracts and estates and the kind of legal work that protects people from their own generosity. She called me the day Bernard told me about the house. Margaret, we need to talk. We met for lunch at the diner near her office. She did not waste time. I love you, she said. You know that. But we need to have a serious conversation about protecting yourself. I frowned. I am helping my son buy a house, Sarah. Not signing away my life. Right now maybe. But things change. People die. Daughters-in-law you think you know can become strangers overnight. He pulled out a folder. Inside were sample documents, agreements, clauses, protections. She walked me through all of it. Explained how joint ownership worked. How business shares could be divided to protect control. How having your name on a lease gives you power even when someone else runs the day-to-day operations. I trust Bernard with my life, I said. No. But he could die tomorrow. Then what? The words hit me like cold water. Bernard was young, healthy. But so was his father before his heart exploded. Trust does not mean leaving yourself vulnerable, Margaret. It means being smart enough to protect everyone, including yourself. So we drew up papers. The business was split into shares. I held 60%. Bernard held 40%. Gave him real ownership, real stake. But it meant no major decision could happen without my approval. The house went into both our names as joint tenants with right of survivorship. If something happened to Bernard, his half would pass to me. Not automatically to Jennifer. There was a clause that gave her and the kids time to stay there. But only if our relationship remained peaceful. Jennifer had to sign off on everything because the bank required her income for the mortgage. I remember her sitting at my kitchen table barely glancing at the pages. Whatever gets us in the house faster, she said. I just want the kids to have a yard. Ryan was 2 then. Lily was barely born. The store opened 6 months later. Bernard worked the floor. He knew how to make customers feel welcome. How to sell them things they did not know they needed. Jennifer handled social media and marketing. She was brilliant at it. Posts that got thousands of likes. Events that filled the store. Me. I handled the numbers. Pearl. Inventory. Axes. The boring invisible work that keeps a business alive. We were a good team. Customers loved us. We grew slowly but steady. Within 3 years we were profitable. Within 5 we had enough saved to think about expanding. I remember sitting in the back office one evening looking at the spreadsheets. Feeling something I had not felt in years. Pride. Purpose. Security. I had built something. Not just for me. For Bernard. For his family. For Ryan and Lily and whatever came next. Sarah stopped by the store one afternoon and found me reorganizing inventory. You did good, Margaret, she said. You protected yourself and you protected them. I protected everyone, I said. That was always the point. She smiled, but there was something sad in it. Just remember. The best protection in the world does not work if people do not respect it. I did not understand what she meant. Not then. I thought the legal documents were a safety net we would never need. Precaution. Just in case. I thought Jennifer would always see me as family. That calling me mom meant something. That sitting beside my son at Christmas was a tradition nobody would think to break. I thought I had protected everyone's future. What I did not realize was that I had also armed myself for a war I did not know was coming. June 14th. That was the day everything changed. I was at the store pricing new ceramic bowls when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost did not answer. Is this Margaret Hayes? A woman's voice. To come. The kind of calm that comes with bad news. This is St. Mary's Hospital. Your son Bernard Hayes has been in an accident. You need to come now. The rest is pieces. Fragments that do not quite fit together. My keys hitting the floor. The bowl I dropped. Blue glaze shattering across tile. The drive to the hospital, though I do not remember getting in my car. The smell of antiseptic when I walked through those doors. Fluorescent lights too bright. Everything too sharp and terrible. A nurse led me down a hallway. Her shoes squeaked on the floor. I focused on that sound because if I thought about anything else I would collapse. The doctor met me in a small room with plastic chairs and a box of tissues. Mrs. Hayes. He was young. Maybe 30. He had not learned yet how to deliver bad news without looking destroyed by it. I am his mother, I said. There was a collision at the intersection of 5th and Madison. Truck ran a red light. Your son's vehicle was struck on the driver's side and pushed into a concrete barrier. The words came at me like punches. He died on impact. There was no pain. He would not have known. The room tilted. I heard someone making sounds. Harsh, ugly crying. Realized it was me. Jennifer arrived 10 minutes later. Her face was white. Makeup smudged. She grabbed my hand and held on so tight my bones hurt. What happened? She whispered. Could not answer. Could not speak. Could only sit there while my world ended. The rest of that day is a blur. Signing forms. Someone putting coffee in my hand that I never drank. Jennifer calling her mother. Her voice high and breaking. Choosing a casket 3 days later. Standing in a funeral home showroom trying to decide which box to bury my son in. This one is very dignified, the funeral director said. Dignified. Like that mattered. I wrote checks. Added them to the pile. Flowers. Programs. The reception. Everything that goes with death. The funeral was too many people. Too many casseroles. Too many voices saying he is in a better place now. Ryan clung to my legs during the service. Lily kept asking when Daddy was coming home. Jennifer stood at the graveside like a statue. Her face blank. Eyes dry. I thought grief had frozen her. I did not realize she was calculating. Watching who stood next to me. Who hugged me. Who called me family. After the funeral the house felt haunted. Bernard's work boots by the back door. His coffee mug in the cabinet. His apron hanging in the store's back room. Customers would come in confused. Where is Bernard today? The first few times I tried to explain. After a while I just said he was not available. Jennifer fell apart slowly, then all at once. The first week she was numb. Moving through motions. Feeding the kids. Answering the phone. The second week she started calling me at midnight. Cannot sleep. The bed feels wrong. I would drive over in my bathrobe. Let myself in with the spare key Bernard gave me. Mitty. Sit with her in the dark while she cried or stared at nothing. You are not alone, I told her. We will get through this together. We are still family. She leaned on me completely those first months. I took the kids to school when she could not get out of bed. I cooked meals and left them in her fridge. I worked double shifts at the store because she could not bear to be there. I did not mind. Gave me purpose. Kept me moving. Grief is easier when you are too busy to sit with it. 8 weeks after the funeral, Sarah stopped by my house. She had a folder under her arm and a look on her face I recognized. We need to talk about Bernard's will. We sat at my kitchen table. The same table where Bernard did homework as a kid. Where he practiced his wedding vows. Where we planned the store layout. Sarah opened the folder. The house is yours now. Joint tenancy with right of survivorship. Bernard's half transferred to you automatically when he died. I stared at the words on the page. But Jennifer and the kids. The will gives them 18 months to live there rent-free. Sarah pointed to a clause. As long as the relationship between you and Jennifer remains peaceful. After that you can choose to let them stay or sell. I would never kick them out. No. But the clause protects you. And them. She flipped to another page. The business shares are now entirely yours. Bernard's 40% defaulted to you as next of kin. I had not thought about any of this. Had not considered what Bernard's death meant legally. Does Jennifer know? Not unless Bernard told her. And I doubt he did. I closed the folder. She does not need to know right now. She is barely holding it together. Sarah gave me a long look. Margaret, you are one of the kindest people I know. But do not mistake kindness for weakness. Those papers exist for a reason. I am not worried about Jennifer. She is grieving. We both are. Just promise me you will remember what we talked about all those years ago. Trust does not mean leaving yourself unprotected. Promise. But I did not believe I would ever need that protection. I thought shared grief would bring us closer. That losing Bernard would make us hold tighter to each other. To the kids. To the family we built. I thought Jennifer needed me. I did not realize that what she needed was everything I had. 2 months after the funeral, Jennifer walked back into Hayes' home and kitchen like she owned it. I was restocking shelves when the bell over the door chimed. I looked up and barely recognized her. Gone was the grieving widow in sweatpants. This woman wore a blazer. Dark jeans that probably cost more than my car payment. Heels that clicked across the floor with authority. Her hair was styled. Makeup perfect. She carried a leather bag over one shoulder. "Morning, Margaret," she said. Not "good morning." Not "how are you." Just my name like I was an employee. "Jennifer." I set down the candle I was holding. "I did not know you were coming in today. I should have been back weeks ago." She disappeared into the back office. I heard the desk drawer open. Papers shuffling. Time to get back to work. Followed her. She was already at the computer scrolling through emails. "Are you sure you are ready?" "Yes. There is no rush. I've been managing fine." She glanced at me. Something cold flickered across her face. "I appreciate everything you have done." Her tone said the opposite. "But this is my job. My business. I need to get back to it." Her business. I let it slide. Grief does strange things. Makes people grab for control when everything else feels out of reach. Over the next few weeks, the changes were small. A customer came in looking for pottery. "Is Margaret here?" the woman asked. "She always helps me pick out gifts." "I can help you with that," Jennifer said smoothly. "I actually handle all our vendor relationships now." The woman looked confused. "Oh, I thought this was Margaret's store." "It is a family business," Jennifer corrected. Her smile was sharp. "But I manage the day-to-day operations." Another time a supplier called about a delayed shipment. I answered and started to handle it. Jennifer appeared beside me. Held out her hand for the phone. "I will take this." "I have it, Jennifer." Her voice was firm. "I will take this." I handed her the phone. She scheduled a meeting with the supplier for the following week. Did not tell me until the morning of. "You have a meeting today?" "Yes." "New contract terms." "I will handle it." "Should I sit in?" "I usually review numbers before we agree to anything." She smiled without warmth. "You have done enough, Margaret. Rest. Spend time with the grandkids. You have earned a break." Break. Like I was a burden she needed relief from. Then one evening she showed up at my house. That leather bag over her shoulder and a folder in her hands. "Do you have a minute?" "Course. Come in." She sat at my kitchen table. Opened the folder. Pulled out a stack of papers. "I want to talk about simplifying things." I turned off the stove. Sat across from her. "Simplifying what?" "The house. The business. All of it." She slid papers toward me. "With Bernard gone, everything is complicated. Split ownership. Unclear authority. It is a mess." I looked at the documents. Transfer agreements. The business share assignments. Every single one transferred ownership from me to Jennifer. What is this? Solution. Right now everything is tangled up legally. The house is in your name and Bernard's. The business has you as majority owner. It makes decisions slow. Complicated. If something happened to you, the kids and I would be stuck in probate for years. Nothing is going to happen to me. You are 72, Margaret. The way she said it. Flat. Matter of fact. Like my age was a problem that needed solving. This way everything is clean, she continued. The house is mine. The business is mine. I can make decisions quickly. Move forward. I stared at her. And where does that leave me? She blinked. What do you mean? I mean, if I sign all this over to you, what happens to me? Do I still work at the store? Do I still see the kids? What is my place in any of this? For the first time she looked uncomfortable. You would still be their grandmother. Of course you would see them. And you could still help at the store if you wanted. Part-time maybe. Help. I repeated the word. The store I opened. In the building I lease. Her jaw tightened. Bernard's money too. His vision. His work. I am not arguing that. Then what is the problem? Her voice rose. This is what Bernard would have wanted. His widow and children secure. You could finally retire. I looked at the papers again. My name crossed out. replaced with hers. No, I said quietly. No what? No, I am not signing these. Her eyes narrowed. Why not? Because Bernard set things up the way he did for a reason. To protect everyone including me. She stood abruptly. Chair scraping floor. I am tired, Margaret. Tired of living in your shadow. In Bernard's shadow. Every decision I make I have to run by you first. The house. The business. Even my own kids. Everything has your name on it. You had Bernard. The words came out before I could stop them. Her face went white then red. How dare you? Jennifer, I did not mean it like that. Yes, you did. She grabbed the folder. Shoved papers inside. You think you gave us everything. You think we owe you. But maybe what you really did was make sure we could never stand on our own. Maybe you made yourself so necessary that we could never build anything without you looming over it. She walked to the door. Turned back. I am not signing anything either. So I guess we are stuck. The door slammed. I sat at my kitchen table staring at the spot where the papers had been. Feeling the foundation of everything I thought I knew start to crack. The phone calls stopped that week. The texts asking for help. The invitations to come over. When I called to check on the kids, Jennifer's responses were short. They are fine. Busy with school. I will tell them you called. I stopped by the store and found meetings happening without me. Decisions made. Inventory ordered. I did not think you would mind, Jennifer said when I asked. You said you wanted me to take more initiative. But this was not initiative. This was erasure. Ryan had a science fair in September. I found out 3 days after it happened. Did you see Ryan's volcano? Lily asked during one of my brief visits. Volcano. At the science fair. He won second place. My chest tightened. When was this? Thursday. Mommy said you were busy. I was not busy. I was home. Waiting for a phone call that never came. I mentioned it to Jennifer at the store. She did not look up from her computer. I forgot to text you. Things have been hectic. You could have called Jennifer. I had a million things going on. Sorry. Slipped my mind. But it kept slipping. Lily's parent-teacher conference. Ryan's soccer game. The fall concert where Lily sang a solo. I found out about all of them after. Through the kids. Through casual mentions that felt like knife wounds. When I did see Ryan and Lily, it was scheduled tightly. You can pick them up Saturday at 10, Jennifer would text. I need them back by 3. We have plans. 3 hours. That was what I got. The store things got worse. The fall display I planned was changed without consultation. Orders I did not approve appeared on invoices. A new vendor agreement with terms I never reviewed. Jennifer, we need to talk about these expenses. I stood in the office doorway with bills in my hand. She sighed. That sigh that said I was being difficult. What about them? This tableware line. We ordered $5,000 worth without discussing it. It is a good investment. Trust me. I would like to see the projections. The sales data. Margaret. She turned in her chair. I handle marketing and sales. You handle books. That is how we divided things, remember. I still need to approve major purchases. Why do you not trust me? It was a trap. Say yes and I was the villain. Say no and I gave up my right to question anything. It is not about trust. It is about being smart with resources. Our resources. She stood up. See, that is the problem. You keep saying our, but you mean yours. Your store. Your money. Your decisions. I am just hired help, right? That is not what I said. But it is what you mean. She grabbed her bag. I have a meeting with a sponsor. We will talk about this later. She did not bring it up later. Neither did I. The worst part was not the decisions or the schedule or the missed events. It was the social media. One of my old clients sent me a message. Margaret, I saw Jennifer's post about the store. So exciting that she is expanding. You must be so proud. I did not know what she meant. So I created an account. Found Jennifer's profile. Scrolled through. Dozens of posts about Hayes home and kitchen. Photos of the store. Products. Events. But in every caption, every description, it was my business. My vision. The store I built. One post showed the front counter. Grateful for this space I created. Building something from nothing is not easy, but watching it grow makes every struggle worth it. From nothing. As if my retirement savings were nothing. As if the lease I signed meant nothing. As if Bernard's dream had never existed before she walked into his life. Another post from weeks earlier showed her holding wine at some networking event. Cheers to new beginnings and finally stepping into my power as a business owner. The home I built. The future I am creating. Oh mine. The home I built. She was talking about the house. The house that was legally mine. Closed the app. Sat in my dark living room. Felt something shift inside me. This was not grief. This was strategy. Jennifer was rewriting history. Erasing me from the narrative. Building a story where I did not exist. And she was doing it publicly. I should have confronted her. Should have demanded she change the posts. Acknowledge the truth. But I did not. I stayed quiet. Kept my head down. Focused on the moments I did get with Ryan and Lily. It was Sarah who finally said what I was too afraid to admit. We met for coffee near her office. She took one look at my face and set down her cup. She is pushing you out, Margaret. No. And you are letting her. What am I supposed to do? Make the kids choose sides. Turn every interaction into a fight. Well, but you do not have to disappear either. She leaned forward. Margaret, listen to me. This is not going to get better. It is going to get worse. The longer you wait to draw a line, the harder it will be. I am trying to keep peace for the kids. The kids need their grandmother. Not a ghost who shows up 3 hours every other Saturday. She was right. I knew she was right. But knowing something and doing something are two different things. In October I heard the name Michael for the first time. Lily mentioned him during one of our short visits. Mommy's friend Michael took us to the zoo. He bought us ice cream. That is nice, I said carefully. Who is Michael? Mommy's boyfriend. She said it casually, like it was already normal to her. A month later Ryan let slip there was going to be a wedding. Maybe in the spring. Mommy has not decided yet. A wedding. Jennifer was getting remarried. I found out from my 10-year-old grandson. I did not say anything. Did not ask. Did not push. Just waited. The Christmas invitation came first week of December. Text message. Short. Personal. We are hosting Christmas dinner this year. Michael's family will be joining us. The kids would like you to come. Me no. Not we would like you to come. The kids would like you to come. I stared at that message. Could say no. Stay home. Avoid whatever Jennifer had planned. But Ryan and Lily would be there. And I had already missed so much. Texted back. I will be there. What can I bring? Her response came an hour later. Just yourself. We have everything covered. But I made the pecan pie anyway. Bernard's favorite. The one I had been bringing to that table for 20 years. I told myself it was for the kids. For tradition. For the memory of my son. I did not let myself think about what Jennifer might do when I walked through that door. Which brings us back to that moment. Me standing in the doorway. The pie in my hands. Jennifer taking it from me with that cold smile. We can find room for it somewhere, she said. That was when I knew. This was not going to be a normal Christmas. This was going to be a demonstration. A public showing of who had power and who did not. And I was right. Now let me tell you what happened after I left that house. After I drove away from that humiliation. After I sat in my car and made the choice that changed everything. I called Sarah from the parking lot. She answered on the second ring. Margaret, are you okay? I need to meet you tonight. To your office. Can you let me in? There was a pause. What happened? She took my seat at the table. And I am taking back everything in my name. Another pause. Longer this time. I will be there in 20 minutes. Side entrance. I drove downtown through quiet streets. Most people were home with their families. Finishing dessert. Opening presents. Making memories. I was about to make a different kind of memory. Sarah's car was already in the lot when I arrived. She stood at the side door. Waved me over. You are sure about this? She asked when I reached her. I have never been more sure of anything. She nodded. But Because once we do this, there is no going back. I do not want to go back. She held the door open. I walked inside. The office was quiet. Too quiet. Our footsteps echoed. Sarah led me through the empty reception area, past dark offices, to her workspace in the back. Coffee? She asked. Well, I just want to get this done. She pulled out a thick folder from her desk. The same one we looked at years ago when we set up the protections. Walk me through it, she said. What exactly do you want to do? Took a breath. The memorial fund. The $50,000 from Bernard's life insurance. I want it moved. Moved where? Into a scholarship. The Bernard Hayes Memorial Scholarship. For students going into culinary arts or hospitality. Something that honors him. Something that actually helps people. Sarah made notes. That is beautiful, Margaret. And it locks Jennifer out completely. Once it is in a charitable trust, she cannot touch it. That is the point. What about the business credit line? I want it reduced. Bring it down to what we need for normal operations. No room for big expansions or expensive remodels. That will upset her. But Sarah looked at me over her glasses. Margaret, I need to ask you something. Are you doing this out of anger? Because if you are, I need you to think carefully. Decisions made in anger tend to blow up. Thought about that. Really thought about it. Am I angry? The folding chair. Plastic cup. The announcement about changing the kids' names. The casual cruelty of it all. But that was not why I was here. I am not doing this because I am angry, I said slowly. I am doing this because if I do not, she will take everything. The store. The house. My place in my grandchildren's lives. She has already started. Tonight was just her showing me how far she is willing to go. And you think this will stop her? I think it will remind her that she does not own what she thinks she owns. That there are consequences for treating people like they are disposable. Sarah nodded. All right then. Let's do this properly. He pulled out forms. Account transfer documents. Affidavits. Legal declarations. We started with the memorial fund. Sarah walked me through establishing the scholarship trust. This is irrevocable, she said as I signed. Once you do this, you cannot change your mind. That money is gone. Not to Jennifer. Not to you. To the scholarship forever. Understand? My hand did not shake as I signed. Next was the business credit line. Sarah pulled up the account. Right now you have $15,000 available. If I reduce it to $6,000, that gives you cushion for normal operations but stops any major moves. Do it. Type. Click. Save. New limit goes into effect immediately. What about the store lease? Your name is on that contract. The landlord cannot change it without your written consent. As long as you pay rent, you control that space. And if Jennifer tries to sublease or bring in partners, breach of contract. You could terminate the lease entirely if you wanted. Sat back. The weight of that power was heavy. I could destroy everything we built. Everything Bernard dreamed of. But that was not what I wanted. I am not trying to hurt her, Sarah. I am trying to protect what Bernard built. No. But she is not going to see it that way. I do not care how she sees it. Sarah pulled out more documents. The house. This is trickier. The will gives her 18 months rent-free as long as your relationship remains peaceful. That ship sailed tonight. Legally you would need to prove she violated the terms. A lawyer would argue one bad dinner is not enough. I thought about the months of being pushed out. The social media post. The systematic erasure. What if I offer her a deal? Let her stay but formalize it. Rental agreement. Below market rate. The rent goes into a trust for the kids. Sarah considered this. That could work. It gives her stability but makes clear you own the house. And it creates a financial record. If she stops paying, you have legal grounds to act. She made notes. This will take a few days to finalize, but I can prepare preliminary documents tonight. Notarize them. Give you something to present when she calls. When she calls. Sarah smiled. Not a happy smile. Margaret, you just moved $50,000. Changed the credit limit on a business account. Started legal proceedings on a house. She is going to find out the second bank's open tomorrow. Your phone is going to explode. I had not thought about that. About the immediate fallout. How many calls? All of them. Jennifer. Suppliers whose cards get declined. The landlord. Probably Michael. Maybe Raymond. Pulled out my phone. 10:43 at night. In less than 12 hours everything would change. I'm ready, I said. Are you? Sarah asked. Because once she knows what you have done, this becomes war. Real legal ugly war. I thought about Lily's hand in mine under the table. About Ryan's face when Jennifer announced she was changing their names. About my pecan pie sitting alone on that counter. About Bernard's empty chair. She started this war the moment she told me that seat was not mine anymore, I said. I'm just fighting back. Sarah printed documents. I signed pages. She stamped them with her notary seal. Official. Legal. Binding. By the time we finished it was nearly midnight. Go home, Sarah said. Get some sleep if you can. Tomorrow is going to be intense. I gathered the copies she gave me. Proof of every change. Every transfer. Every decision. Thank you. Do not thank me yet. Thank me when this is over and you still have a relationship with your grandkids. I walked out into the December cold. Sat in my car. Looked at the documents on the passenger seat. Everything I had just done. Everything I had just set in motion. For a moment doubt crept in. What if Sarah was right? What if this made everything worse? Then I remembered Jennifer's face when she said for now. The casual dismissal. The assumption that I would always be there. Always available. Always willing to sign whatever she wanted. I started the engine and drove home. By morning my phone would show 34 missed calls. But tonight for the first time in 6 months I slept soundly. I woke at 6:30. Decades of early rising had trained my body. The house was quiet. Morning light filtered through my bedroom curtains, soft and golden. I made coffee. Toast with butter. Sat at my kitchen table with the newspaper. Felt normal. Ordinary. My phone sat face down beside my coffee cup. Silent. I knew that would not last. At 8:15 it started. The first call came from a number I did not recognize. I let it ring. 2 minutes later another call. Different number. Voicemail again. Then a text from the landlord. Margaret got a strange call this morning from someone claiming to be the new primary contact for your lease. Can you call me when you get a chance? I sipped my coffee. Did not respond. Not yet. The calls came faster after that. Suppliers. The payment processing company. Unknown numbers. All going to voicemail. By 9 my phone buzzed every few minutes. Jennifer's name flashed across the screen. Once. 3 times in a row. I did not answer. Text came through. Pick up the phone. Then another. I know what you did. Another. Call me now. I set the phone down. Finished my coffee. At 9:30 Ryan's name appeared. That one I answered. Grandma. His voice was small. Tired. Hi sweetheart. Are you okay? Mom is really mad. I could hear shouting in the background. Jennifer's voice high and sharp. Something about stolen money and legal action. I know, honey. But you do not need to worry about that. That is between me and your mom. She said you stole money from us. My chest tightened. I did not steal anything, Ryan. I moved some money that was in my name. It is going to help other kids go to school. Kids who want to learn cooking like your dad did. But Mom said it was for us. For our future. Your future is fine. Promise. What I did was make sure your dad's name stays on something good. Something that helps people. There was a long pause. More shouting in the background. Grandma, are you and Mom going to stop talking? Hope not. But right now your mom is very upset. Sometimes adults have to work through hard things. I do not want you to go away. My throat closed. I am not going anywhere, Ryan. Do you hear me? I am your grandmother. Nothing changes that. Bae. He did not sound convinced. Love you. Tell Lily I love her too. I will. He hung up. I sat there holding the phone. Staring at my kitchen wall. Feeling the weight of what I had done. This was not just about Jennifer anymore. The kids were caught in the middle. Tired. confused. Exactly what I had been trying to avoid. My phone rang again. Jennifer, for the 7th time, answered. You unbelievable. She did not even wait for hello. You stole $50,000 from my children. I did not steal anything. That money was in my name. You redirected it to what? Some fake charity. To a scholarship in Bernard's name. It will send kids to culinary school. Kids like the ones Bernard used to mentor. It is exactly what he would have wanted. You had no right. I had every right. My name was on the policy. Paid the premiums. The money was mine to allocate. That was our expansion fund. Her voice cracked. Michael and I were going to open a second location. We had investors interested. You just destroyed everything. So that was it. The insurance money was not for the kids. It was for her empire building. For impressing Michael. Good, I said. Good. You are proud of sabotaging your own family. I am proud of protecting Bernard's legacy, which you seem eager to erase. I am not erasing anything. I am trying to build something. By changing his children's names. By moving me out of my seat. By pretending I never existed. Silence on her end. Then quieter. That is what this is about. Chair. A seat is just a chair, Jennifer. But names matter. And everything that is in my name I just took back. You are blackmailing me. I am setting boundaries. There is a difference. Heard movement. A step. Door closing. When she spoke again her voice was different. Harder. You just made a huge mistake. Did I? Because from where I sit the only mistake I made was trusting you to honor my son's memory and my place in this family. You want to play legal games. Fine. I will get a lawyer. I will fight you for that house. For the business. For everything. You can try. But you signed the prenup. You acknowledged the will. You agreed to the terms Bernard set up. 18 months rent-free as long as our relationship stayed peaceful. You broke that last night. You are twisting everything. I am stating facts. The house is mine. The business is mine. The scholarship is established. If you want to keep living there, we draw up a rental agreement. Below market. Affordable. The rent goes into a trust for Ryan and Lily's college fund. And if I say no, then I sell. You find an apartment. The kids lose stability. Choice. I heard her breathing. Rest. Angry. Then another voice. Deeper. Will. Jennifer, give me the phone. Raymond. Some muffled arguing. Jennifer shouting. Raymond's voice firm but not loud. Then Raymond was on the line. Margaret. This is Raymond. We met last night. I'm sorry about all this. It is not your fault. Maybe not. But I am watching my future daughter-in-law lose her mind over money that was never hers. And I am watching 2 scared kids hide in their rooms because adults cannot act like adults. He paused. Can we meet? The 3 of us. Somewhere neutral. Talk this through like rational people. I do not think Jennifer wants to be rational right now. She does not have a choice. I just told her if she does not sit down with you and work this out I am walking. Michael too. We are not marrying into a family war. I was quiet for a moment. Store. Tomorrow morning. 8 before it opens. Just you and Jennifer. No Michael. No lawyers. Agreed. He hung up. I looked at my phone. 34 missed calls. 15 voicemails. Dozens of texts. But the only one that mattered was from Ryan. I texted him back. Love you. Everything is going to be okay. Promise. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Finally. I love you too, Grandma. I set the phone down. Looked around my quiet kitchen. Tomorrow I would face Jennifer. Tomorrow there would be confrontation and anger and probably more accusations. But tonight I had drawn a line. And for the first time in 6 months I knew exactly where I stood. On solid ground. With my name on the deed. I arrived at the store at 7:30. Half hour early. The street was quiet. Gray morning light made everything look tired. I unlocked the door. Stepped inside. The smell hit me first. Wood polish. Cinnamon from display candles. Bernard's apron still hung on the hook in the back room. I had not moved it. Could not. I made coffee in the break room. The machine gurgled and hissed. At 7:50 a car pulled up outside. Raymond got out alone. He came to the door. I unlocked it. "Jennifer is not with you," I said. "She is coming. Just needed a few more minutes." He looked around the store, taking in the shelves, the displays, the framed photo of Bernard at the grand opening. "This is a nice place. You built something good here." "We built it. Bernard and I." "Jennifer too in the beginning." "In the beginning," he repeated quietly. "Can we talk before she gets here? Just for a minute." I poured him coffee. We sat on stools near the back counter. Raymond wrapped his hands around the mug. "I owe you an apology." "You already apologized. At the door after dinner. Not for the seat. For not seeing what was happening sooner." He looked at me. "I have known Jennifer for 8 months. Since she and Michael started dating. And I have seen this pattern before." "What pattern?" "The hunger. The need to own everything. To be the only one who matters." He took a sip of coffee. "Michael almost married someone else 3 years ago. Sweet girl. Teacher actually. They were engaged. Planning the wedding. Then Michael's mother got sick. Cancer. Needed help with medical decisions. Finances. He listened. The fiancé tried to help. Offered to coordinate care. Be supportive. And Michael's ex-wife made it very clear this woman had no place in family decisions. Started pushing her out of everything. Made her feel like an outsider. What happened? The engagement fell apart. Michael's ex got what she wanted. Control. And my son learned to be careful about who he brings into his life." Raymond set down his mug. "When he introduced me to Jennifer, I saw the same thing. The way she talks about the store, the house, the kids, everything is hers. Her vision, her work. Like Bernard was just a supporting character." "Why did Michael propose then?" Raymond's face tightened. "He did not actually. Not yet. Jennifer has been telling people they are engaged. Posting about wedding plans. But Michael never asked." He paused. "And after last night, after watching what she did to you at that table, he told her it is over." I stared at him. "Michael called it off. This morning. Before the phone calls started. He said he cannot marry someone who treats family like that. Who humiliates a grieving mother at Christmas dinner." Raymond looked down. "Jennifer does not know I am telling you this. She thinks he is just upset. That he will come around. But he will not. I raised him better than that." The door chimed. We both turned. Jennifer stood in the doorway. Her face pale. Is red. She wore jeans and an oversized sweater. Hair pulled back. No makeup. She looked at Raymond. Then at me. Then back to Raymond. "You were telling her about Michael." "It was not a question. She needs to know why you are really here." "I am here because she stole $50,000 from my children." "It was not your money," Raymond said quietly. "And you know it." Jennifer's hands clenched into fists. "Whose side are you on?" "The side that does not involve treating people like garbage." He turned on me. "You turned him against me. You turned everyone against me." "I did not have to turn anyone, Jennifer. They saw what you did on their own." "What I did?" Her voice rose. "What about what you did? You have controlled everything from the start. The store. The house. The money. You made it impossible for me to build anything that did not have your name stamped all over it. I gave you opportunities. I gave you partnership." "Partnership." She laughed. Bitter. "Partnership means equal. Means having a say. Every decision I made you questioned. Every idea I had you shut down. Every time a customer came in they asked for Margaret. Margaret knows best. Margaret has the relationships. Margaret. That is not fair. Is it not?" She moved closer. "Do you know what it is like to work beside someone and be invisible? To put in hours and effort and creativity and have everyone credit someone else? You and Bernard. You were this perfect team. And I was just the add-on. The marketing girl. You were family. I was useful." He spat the word. "Useful for social media. Useful for co-signing loans. Useful for giving Bernard children. But the second I tried to have something that was mine, just mine, you made sure I could not. Raymond stood up. Jennifer, that is not what happened. Stay out of this. Well, his voice was firm. You want to talk about being overshadowed? About living in someone else's story? Look at what you are doing. You are erasing Bernard, changing his kids' names, moving his mother out of her seat, pretending the money and house and business just fell into your lap. I worked for all of it. So did Margaret. So did Bernard. But you are the only one trying to claim sole ownership. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. I just wanted something that was mine. Is that so wrong? To want to build something. To have something without always being compared to them. Without always being second. For a moment nobody spoke. I saw her then. Really saw her. Not the woman who humiliated me. Not the calculating person who tried to take my assets. I saw the young woman who married Bernard. Who worked 60-hour weeks trying to prove herself. Who always felt like she was competing with ghosts. You were never second, Jennifer, I said quietly. You were different. Bernard brought people. You brought vision. Brought structure. We all brought something. But you owned it. Her voice broke. You owned all of it. And I was just the worker. You could have built your own thing. Started your own business. With what money? What credit? Everything I had was tied up in what we built together. And the one time I tried to make it officially mine, you said no. 'Cause you wanted to erase me. Not partner with me. She sank onto a stool. Shoulders shaking. I did not know how else to get out from under it. How else to finally stand on my own. Raymond put a hand on her shoulder. By respecting the people who helped you. Not by pushing them out. Jennifer looked up at me. Face blotchy. Eyes desperate. What do you want from me? She whispered. Took a breath. I want you to understand that taking my chair did not take my power. And that if you want to keep the house, keep working at this store, keep my grandchildren in my life, we are going to do it on terms that protect everyone. Not just you. What terms? I walked to the back office. Pulled out the folder Sarah gave me. Came back and set it on the counter. These are the terms. Not negotiations. Terms. Jennifer stared at the folder like it might explode. The scholarship stays, I continued. The $50,000 is gone permanently. It is going to send kids to culinary school in Bernard's name. That money will never be yours. Never be mine. Never be used for expansions or anything except helping students. Monica. He started. I am not finished. My voice was calm but firm. The store stays at current size. No expansions. No expensive remodels. No bringing in Michael's family as investors. The credit line is reduced to what we need for normal operations. You continue as manager with salary and profit share. But any purchase over $1,000 requires my written approval. That is how it works for the next 6 months. 6 months. Her voice was small. 6 months to prove you can run this business responsibly. That you can treat me with respect. That you can make decisions that honor what Bernard built instead of erasing it. After that we revisit. And if I do not agree, I close the store. Donate my shares to a non-profit. Walk away entirely. Her face went white. You would not. Try me. Raymond shifted but said nothing. I opened the folder. Pulled out another document. The house. Bernard's will gives you and the kids 18 months rent-free as long as our relationship remains peaceful. Last night broke that condition. So you are kicking us out. Her voice was bitter. Throwing your grandchildren into the street over a chair. I am not kicking anyone out. I am formalizing what should have been formalized from the start. A rental agreement. Below market rate. Something you can afford. The rent goes into a trust. Half for Ryan and Lily's college fund. Half for the scholarship. She stared at me. You want me to pay rent in the house my husband bought. In the house I co-signed for. In the house that is legally half mine because of joint tenancy. Bernard's half transferred to me when he died. That is the law, Jennifer. Not something I made up to punish you. This is blackmail. This is boundaries. I met her eyes. You wanted something that was yours. Fine. Earn it. Pay rent like every other 35-year-old. Treat the house like a home, not a stage set for your new life. Show me you can be responsible. And if I miss a payment, 2 missed payments without a very good reason, I sell. You find an apartment on your own. Her hands shook. You are taking everything. I am protecting everything. There is a difference. I pulled out the last document. You sign this rental agreement. You agree to the store terms. You stop posting on social media like you built all this alone. And in return you get stability, home, job, a relationship with me that is not based on fear or power games. Raymond cleared his throat. I will co-sign the rental agreement. Jennifer turned to him. What? Not as your savior. As accountability. I have watched you dodge responsibility your whole relationship with Michael. This is your chance to show you can keep your word. You are supposed to be on my side. I am on the side of doing what is right. And what is right is respecting the woman who gave you everything and asked for very little in return. Jennifer looked between us. Prap. What if I say no? She asked. What if I tell you to take your terms and shove them? I did not blink. Then I donate my 60% of the store to a women's business foundation. They take over. You become an employee. Not a manager. I sell the house. Move somewhere warm. Ryan and Lily lose their home. They lose their grandmother. They lose stability. And you explain to them why. The weight of that hung in the air. You would really do that. Her voice cracked. You would really walk away from your grandchildren. I would not be walking away from them. I would be walking away from you and the situation you created. But yes, if that is what it takes to stop being treated like a signature on paper, I will do it. She sank back onto the stool. All fight drained out of her. You have me completely backed into a corner. You backed yourself into this corner the moment you tapped my chair and told me it was not mine anymore. Raymond put his hand on her shoulder. Jennifer, you can fight this and lose everything. Or you can accept it and maybe rebuild some trust. She was quiet for a long time. I could see her mind working, looking for an exit that did not exist. Finally she looked up at me. Eyes red. Face exhausted. I will sign, she said hoarsely. On one condition. Raymond groaned. Jennifer, you are not in a position to make conditions. No, let her speak, I said. What condition? She took a shaky breath. Ryan has a choir concert. Friday night. Holiday concert at the school. He is doing a reading about family traditions. I want you there. Front row. With your stupid pecan pie for the reception after. And when he says your name into that microphone, I am not going to stop him. I will sit there and I will clap and I will let everyone see that you are his grandmother. That you are part of this family. I felt my chest tighten. Why? Because if I am signing papers that say I respect you, I need to actually show it. Publicly. Not just on some legal document nobody sees. That is not a condition, Jennifer. Being invited to my grandson's concert is not something you hold over my head. It is something I have always had the right to attend. Then fine. Her voice was barely a whisper. It is not a condition. It is an apology. Me admitting I was wrong to push you out. Raymond looked at her surprised. I studied her face, trying to see if this was manipulation or genuine remorse. You will introduce me to the other parents. Yes. You will not pretend I am just some distant relative. I will introduce you as Grandma Margaret, Bernard's mother, the woman who helped us build our life. And the social media posts. She swallowed hard. I will post a correction. Give credit where it is due. Acknowledge that the store was a family effort. I picked up the rental agreement. Then we have a deal. You sign this. You show up to that concert and treat me like family in front of everyone. And maybe, just maybe, we find a way forward. She took the pen I offered. Her hand shook as she signed her name. Raymond signed as co-signer. I signed as landlord. It was done. We stood there in the quiet store. The three of us. Surrounded by shelves Bernard and I stocked. Displays Jennifer designed. Dreams we all poured into this space. Friday night, Jennifer said quietly. 6:30. Concert starts at 7. I will be there. She nodded. Picked up her bag. Walked to the door. Before she left she turned back. Margaret. I really did love him. Bernard. I know you might not believe that after everything. But I did. I know you did. That is the only reason we are still having this conversation. Left. Raymond lingered. You are tougher than you look. I am an accountant. I have dealt with worse than this. He smiled. For what it is worth, I think Bernard would be proud of you. For not letting his memory get erased. He left before I could respond. I stood alone in the store. Morning light was brighter now, streaming through windows, illuminating dust floating in the air. I had won, set boundaries, protected what was mine. But it did not feel like victory. Felt like the beginning of something, not an ending. Friday night would tell me which. Friday evening arrived cold and clear. I spent the afternoon baking Bernard's pecan pie, the same recipe I had used for 20 years. The house filled with the smell of brown sugar and vanilla. For a moment it felt like he was still here. I dressed carefully. Navy sweater. Pearl earrings. I wanted to look like a grandmother who belonged. The pie sat in a white box on my passenger seat as I drove to the elementary school. The parking lot was half full. Parents hurried inside carrying cameras and flowers. I walked through double doors into the gymnasium. That specific combination of floor wax and old basketballs and heating systems working overtime. Folding chairs arranged in neat rows. Garlands strung along walls. A banner reading Happy Holidays in glitter letters. Kids running between chairs. Parents trying to save seats. Teachers herding students toward risers on stage. The chaos was beautiful. I spotted Ryan immediately. Back riser. White button-down shirt slightly too big. Hair combed neatly. He kept adjusting his collar. Lily stood beside him in a green velvet dress, waving at everyone. When she saw me, her whole face lit up. She started to wave frantically, then stopped. Looked nervous. I smiled at her. Mouthed, "You look beautiful." She beamed. I found a seat in the third row. Close enough to see. Not so close I looked desperate. I set the pie box on the chair beside me. More parents filed in. One woman, Mrs. Patterson, caught my eye. "Margaret Hayes. I've not seen you in ages. How are you?" "Am well. Here to see Ryan. He is such a sweet boy. My daughter is in his grade. She mentioned he is doing a reading tonight. Should be lovely." The lights dimmed. The principal welcomed everyone. Thanked the music teacher. Then the concert began. Younger grades sang first. Kindergartners stumbling through Jingle Bells. Second graders doing Frosty the Snowman. The audience clapped and laughed. I kept looking for Jennifer, wondering if she would show. Then I saw her. She walked in during third grade performance. Raymond beside her. No Michael. She scanned rows. When she saw me in the third row, she paused. For a moment I thought she might sit beside me. But she did not. She and Raymond moved to a row further back. 6 rows behind me. Clear statement. Margaret in front. Jennifer in back. Respect even if uncomfortable. 4th and 5th graders took the stage. Ryan was front and center holding an index card. He looked terrified. The music teacher introduced the next portion. Our older students have prepared readings about family holiday traditions. Please welcome Ryan Hayes. Not Caldwell. Not yet. Ryan stepped to the microphone. It squeaked with feedback. Someone adjusted it. He cleared his throat, hands shaking as he held the card. He looked out at the audience. Found me. His shoulders relaxed. Then he began to read. Our family tradition, he said. Voice small at first, then growing stronger. Is that my grandma brings pecan pie every Christmas. The same recipe her mom taught her. And she taught my dad. And maybe someday she will teach me. My throat tightened. My mom always burns the rolls, he continued. People laughed. I heard Jennifer make a sound behind me. But we eat them anyway because they are part of the tradition. My dad used to do the turkey. He would put on this old apron with a cartoon chicken and pretend he was a famous chef. He made us laugh so hard milk came out our noses. The audience chuckled. Tyler's voice wavered. My dad is not here anymore. He died in June. But Grandpa Raymond helps with mashed potatoes now. He is not my real grandpa, but he is trying. And my grandma Margaret, she is still there. She still brings the pie. She still tells stories about when my dad was little. She still makes it feel like home even when everything feels different. I could not see him clearly. My vision blurred. This year, Ryan said, looking right at me. I am grateful we still get to sit together. All of us. Even when it is hard. Even when we do not always agree. Family is not about who sits where or what name is on paper. It is about showing up. And my grandma always shows up. He stepped back from the microphone. The audience applauded. I clapped until my hands hurt. Lily was next. She sang a solo. Voice high and clear. Slightly off key. She smiled the whole time. Completely unbothered. When she finished, she took a little bow. The concert continued, but I barely heard it. Ryan's words echoed in my head. She still makes it feel like home. When the program ended, parents flooded toward the stage. Kids jumped off risers. I made my way toward Ryan and Lily. They saw me and pushed through the crowd. Ryan got to me first. I hugged him tight.